Hi, I'm Emma. Oh my gosh, today we're talking about one of my favorite animated movies ever, Ice Age. I mean, come on! Manny, Sid, Diego. This movie is just so much fun. And I'm pretty sure you've seen it. So today, we're going to go back through the story together and learn some useful English along the way. Don't worry, this isn't going to feel like a boring English class. We're just going to have fun, talk about the movie, and pick up some really useful English. And yes, I'll be adding some words to our vocabulary board as we go. Ready? Okay, let's go back to the Ice Age. It all begins in a world covered in snow and ice. It's freezing, really, really cold. Animals are everywhere, and they're all moving south, looking for warmer places. Some are walking, some are flying, some are running. Everyone seems to be going in the same direction. Well, almost everyone. Because there's one animal going the other way, and you already know who it is. Manny, a huge woolly mammoth. Manny is enormous. He's covered in thick fur. Our first word for the board, fur. He has long hair and two enormous tusks. Look at those things. I mean, you definitely don't want to have an argument with Manny. Those tusks are impressive. Another word for the board, tusk. Manny is walking completely alone. He doesn't seem interested in joining the other animals. He doesn't seem interested in making friends. He just wants to keep walking. And honestly, Manny doesn't look very happy. He looks serious, very serious, almost too serious. But while Manny is enjoying his peaceful walk, someone else is having a terrible morning. And yes, I'm talking about Sid. Oh, Sid! Sid is a sloth. And if you've seen the movie, you already know this guy can talk. A lot. Another word for the board, sloth. Sid wakes up and discovers that his family has already left. They're going south, without him. Can you imagine waking up and realizing that everyone has already gone? I would panic. I'd run outside. I'd probably be screaming their names. But Sid? No. Sid decides to go after them. He wants to catch up with his family. And that's when he finds Manny. Now, Manny clearly wants to be alone, but Sid doesn't really understand that. He starts following Manny. Manny keeps walking. Sid keeps following him. Manny walks faster. Sid walks faster. Manny looks annoyed. Sid keeps talking. And I think you already know where this is going. Manny has found himself a new problem, and his name is Sid. Eventually, Sid realizes that his family isn't coming back for him, so he decides to stay with Manny. Well, Manny doesn't exactly invite him, but Sid stays anyway. And somehow, these two completely different animals begin traveling together. One is quiet. The other is extremely talkative. One wants to be alone. The other probably hasn't been quiet for more than 30 seconds in his entire life. But their journey is about to become much more interesting because they find something. A human baby. And this is where everything changes. The baby is alone. His mother is gone, and Manny and Sid have no idea what to do. They don't know where the baby's family is. They don't know where he came from. But they know one thing. They can't just leave him there. So they decide to help. And now we have another useful word. Another word for the board, rescue. Manny and Sid need to rescue the baby. They need to find his family and return him safely. And suddenly, their peaceful little journey isn't so peaceful anymore. They have a baby. They have no idea what they're doing. And they're walking through an enormous frozen world. Good luck, guys. But there's another problem. Someone else is looking for the baby. and his name is Diego. Diego is a saber-toothed tiger. He's fast, he's strong, and he's a hunter. Another word for the board, hunter. He's part of a pack, and his job is to find the baby. Another word for the board, pack. At first, Diego doesn't really care about Manny or Sid. He has his own mission. He wants the baby, and he wants to take him back. But things don't go exactly as planned. Diego finds Manny and Sid, and now the three of them are together. Well, together might be a strong word. They're not exactly friends yet. Manny doesn't trust Diego. Sid is probably just happy to have another person to talk to. And Diego looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. So now we have three completely different animals: Manny, Sid, and Diego. A mammoth, a sloth, and a saber-toothed tiger. Honestly, this is probably the strangest group of friends in movie history. But that's exactly what makes the story so good. They don't belong together, and yet they have to work together. They have a common goal. They need to return the baby to his family. So they begin their journey. Another word for the board, journey. And this time, they have to cross the frozen landscape together. The world around them is beautiful, but dangerous. There are huge mountains of ice, deep valleys, frozen rivers, and danger is everywhere. Another word for the board, danger. They have to be careful. They have to stay together, and they have to keep moving because the world is changing. The ice is coming, and winter is getting closer. As they continue, Sid does what Sid does best. He talks, and talks, and talks. Manny tries to ignore him. Diego tries to ignore him, but Sid just keeps going. Honestly, I think Sid would be a very difficult person to travel with. Imagine spending 3 days in a car with him. No music, no phone, just Sid, talking the entire time. But even though Sid can be annoying, he also makes the journey more fun. And slowly, Manny starts to enjoy having him around. He doesn't admit it, but you can see it. Then, something happens that makes Manny realize how much he cares about the baby. The group finds themselves in danger, and Manny immediately tries to protect him. Another word for the board, protect. Manny wants to protect the baby, and that tells us something important about his character. He may look cold, he may look distant, but deep down, he cares. A lot. And the more time they spend together, the more we begin to understand Manny. He's not alone because he hates everyone. He's alone because he's afraid of getting close to someone again. He's carrying a painful memory, a memory about his family. And slowly, we start to understand why he is the way he is. I actually really like that part of Manny's character, because sometimes people can look cold, but they're not really cold. Sometimes they're just protecting themselves. Maybe you've met someone like that. Someone who doesn't talk much. Someone who doesn't easily trust other people. Maybe they seem distant, but you don't know what happened in their past. You don't know what they've experienced. And that's exactly what makes Manny interesting. Now, while Manny is slowly opening up, Diego is also changing. At the beginning, Diego only cares about his mission. He wants to find the baby. He wants to complete his job. But after spending time with Manny and Sid, something starts to change. He begins to care about them. He starts helping them. And eventually, he begins to see them as friends. And that brings us to another important word, Manny doesn't trust Diego at first. Another word for the board? Trust. And honestly, can you blame him? Diego is a tiger. He's dangerous, and he's been hunting them. Not exactly the best first impression. But Diego slowly proves that he can be trusted. And that's important, because trust isn't something you can demand. You have to earn it. You show someone that you're there for them. You help them. You keep your promises. And little by little, they begin to trust you. That's what happens with Manny and Diego. Their relationship changes. Slowly, not immediately. And I think that's much more realistic. Real friendships aren't created in 5 minutes. They take time. They take experiences. Sometimes they take arguments. And sometimes they take a very strange journey through the Ice Age. Now, the journey continues, and things are getting harder. The group has to cross dangerous areas. They have to climb. They have to walk through snow. They have to find food. And they have to protect the baby. At one point, they find themselves near a huge cliff. Another word for the board, cliff. And yeah, that's not exactly where you want to have an argument. A cliff is a very steep side of a mountain or high place. So, if you see a cliff, don't run toward it. Please. The group keeps moving, and every time something goes wrong, they have to help each other. Someone falls, someone gets stuck, someone gets scared, and somehow, they always manage to continue. That's what makes them a team. They don't all have the same personality. They don't all have the same strengths. But they help each other. And that's another word I want you to remember. Survive. Another word for the board. Survive. They are trying to survive. The world is changing. The weather is getting colder. Food is becoming harder to find. And dangerous animals are everywhere. So surviving isn't easy. But they keep going. They don't give up. And I think that's one of the most important ideas in the whole movie. Sometimes you don't need to know exactly how you're going to finish the journey. You just need to take the next step. Then another. And another. And eventually, you get there. Now, there's something else happening in the story. Diego has a difficult decision to make. He has a choice. Another word for the board, choice. He can continue with his original plan, or he can help the people who have become his friends. And that's not easy, because sometimes doing the right thing isn't the easiest thing. Sometimes the easy choice isn't the right choice. Diego chooses his friends, and that's the moment when we really see how much he's changed. He's no longer just a hunter. He's part of the group. He's part of the family. And Manny and Sid aren't just animals traveling with him anymore. They're his friends. And then we get closer to the end of the journey. The group finally reaches the place where the baby's family is. And suddenly, the journey is almost over. And this is where the story becomes emotional. Because they have spent so much time together. They've laughed together, they've argued, they've been in danger, they've helped each other, and now they have to say goodbye. Manny knows that the baby has to go home. Sid knows it too. Diego knows it. But that doesn't make saying goodbye easy. Have you ever had to say goodbye to someone you cared about? Maybe a friend moved away? Maybe someone went to another country. Maybe you finished school and everyone went in different directions. Goodbyes are difficult, even when you know it's the right thing. And that's what makes this ending special. The three characters started the story as strangers. Manny wanted to be alone. Sid was simply looking for his family. Diego had a mission. But after everything they've experienced, they're different. Manny has friends, Sid has found a new family, and Diego has learned to trust. And I think that's the real story of Ice Age. Yes, it's about a frozen world. Yes, it's about a baby. Yes, there are dinosaurs. Well, not dinosaurs exactly. But at its heart, it's about three very different characters becoming a family. And honestly, I think that's why people still love this movie. Now, before we finish, let's look at our vocabulary board. We've collected some really useful words today, and we're going to review them. But this time, I don't want to explain them again. I just want you to hear them. Listen carefully. Ready? Tusk, fur, sloth, rescue, hunter, pack, journey, danger, protect, trust, cliff, survive, choice. 13 words. That's it. Don't try to memorize everything immediately. Choose a few, maybe 3. Practice them today. Then tomorrow, come back and choose 3 more. That's how you build your English, little by little, one word at a time. And now, I have one question for you. If you were one of the characters in Ice Age, who would you be? Manny, Sid, or Diego? Personally, I think I'd be somewhere between Manny and Sid. I like quiet places, but I also talk a lot. Maybe too much. Anyway, tell me in the comments. And if you enjoyed learning English with me today, I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care. Keep listening, keep learning, and most importantly, keep speaking. See you soon!